I'm Ayan Karanja, and this is Behind the Shirt.
Good morning. This video is coming to you much later than expected. I did this shoot in February. It is currently March, so that's an indication of how well things have been going. So during the month of February, I went through a lot. My mental health, physical, my relations, everything was in turmoil. Everything was just yeah. So you know the artists say when they're at the lowest is when they're able to create the best art. That doesn't work for me, at least when it comes to my own professional, more creative endeavors. For me, the joy of creating has always been doing it with people who I respect, people who I cherish, who I like, who I have fun with, who I love. And it's hard when you're out of sync, and that's what happened in February. And during this shoot, I was with somebody who I admire a lot. His name is Rhotimmi, and I did the best I could, and when I came back I knew it wasn't the best I could have done because of where I was, and I didn't feel comfortable releasing that content or this video because of that reason. And I just sat back down and said, it might not be what you thought it was going to be, or as maybe your expectations, maybe my own expectations for myself are way too high. So I decided I might as well still release this video, still try and show you behind the shots I took, and hopefully, you learn something like I did about having to create when you don't feel like creating. So for this concept, it was meant to be a high contrast shoot. I wanted to try different, really hard lighting techniques to show definition. Unlike the first shoot I did for Behind the Shot, where I added new concepts, but I genuinely am used to working with soft light, parabolic. It's the bread and butter of the photography industry. For this one, I did use soft boxes and grids, which was the first time I ever used the grid. I didn't know the magic. Where have I been? Why has no one told me the magic of grids? But even if I use those modifiers, I wanted the light to be much harsher, so I had tried to structure my shutter speed and ISO to really come up with that concept. I don't know if I succeeded, but you know what? I tried. All I can say is I tried.
Raise your eyebrows.
Smile. No, smile. Raise your eyebrows. No, smile.
I'm getting into character.
Oh, sorry.
Like I'm giving a speech. Come on.
Okay, give the speech now, please.
When you're afraid, you get me. You get me. You know what I mean? Yeah? Cool.
It works, right?
When you're fine. You can't cheat the camera. You get me. No, it's not today. does not want me to portray laziness. I'm lazy.
So welcome to the editing process. I also don't know what's going on here, just like you do, but we'll find our way. So I am currently in Lightroom. I have starred the ones that I like. And we're gonna see how exactly we're going to edit them. So for the setups, I had 4 of them. So for the first setup, it was the usual. We had a softbox coming in from this side with a large octagon that was 155 centimeters. And then on this side, we had the strip box coming to create this edge highlight over here. I did this setup in the last one and I really liked it. He wanted some nice corporate shots that he could put in his documents, so this was the best setup for that. The second setup, which was personally my favorite, we had one light. It was a strip box and it was coming from this side like this. Actually completely at 90 degrees from him. I wanted to create that lighting effect where half of it is illuminated and the light falls off on the other side. To be honest, this is my favorite setup and photo. This is the one that worked the best. The third setup, we had the same strip box on this side and we were trying to illuminate this part only to get highlights here and especially around this area over here. So it was still the same. It wasn't directly 90 degrees. I'd say it was more towards the front than directly on the side. It was probably more forward than back. So that's the one we used for this setup. And then for the last one, it was the same setup with the 145 octagon and the strip box, except it was much higher. It was coming from this direction. The grid with the strip box was now coming from this side. So those are the 4 setups that I did. So when it comes to editing these photos, I'm going to go for a very basic editing technique for the first few, because for them they're meant to be more corporate, more well evenly lit. So for that, I'll probably just do screen retouching, usually for separation. We're not going to do that again. It's the basics. Where I feel as if I'll have an issue is now all the stuff that was split lighting. I feel like I'll do very little to these setups because the lighting technique was what was meant to shine the most. So I actually don't know what I'm gonna do. So let's just enter Photoshop and see what we can do. So first we're gonna start with my favorite image of the whole shoot. You know that one shot you get and you know you should just end the shoot there because it's not gonna get better. It's this one for me. I've gone ahead and done frequency separation already. Very minimal, barely did anything. I just wanted to clear away all the distractions. So now that I look at the photo, like it was already so well lit. Even his skin tone came out well because, you know, Canon at least, she's not gonna let you down there. So my skin tones are fine, in my opinion, and the lighting setup is good. So what I'll probably do is maybe add contrast using levels. I'm trying to pull the darks a bit more so that the contrast is a bit starker between the lit areas and the non-lit areas. So if you see the before and the after, you can see the black has moved more towards the highlighted areas. And actually what I should do is I should also bring in the highlights just a tad, just to increase some of the contrast. Yeah, just a little, not too much because it's already the highlights already a lot. So we're gonna do the before, the after, the before, the after, and that works well. I'm also going to whiten his eyes because we are here. I forgot to do it during the retouch stage. And reduce it to 70% so that it's not too glaring. Now that that's done, I'm also going to do some hair and eye enhancing So I usually do this, especially with nails. I feel like it really just adds a touch more to the photo. There we go. The difference, not that much, but for me, I can clearly see that there is a difference. And to be honest, this photo is fine. There's barely anything to do. Like barely anything. We're done. So now obviously we need to sharpen it for Instagram. Yeah, just a little sharpening. It did not need much. And I think I'm done for this photo. I know the rest are probably gonna give me a headache, but at least for this one, we're done. I don't need to dodge or burn. The light did everything for me. It made sure that everything looks on point. Now for my second photo where I only used the strip box, here I might need to do a little more work because the light was harder to get it to light him more evenly, unlike when it was only a medium close-up. Now that it was more full body, it got more tricky. So now I have to help it pop more. So first is definitely going to be frequency separation. We don't need to go through this, so let me just do it. That's it for the frequency separation. Just to like soften the highlight edges and the shadows edges and remove just a few blemishes. I'm really not gonna do much in this photo. I keep saying this, but this time I mean it. I'm not gonna touch it too much. So next we are actually going to do global dodge and burn. Now the reason I want to do this is I want to highlight this area in particularly. I want the brightness to be more pronounced and the shadows to be more pronounced to give more definition to the area. Basically, like really anywhere where there is more highlight than shadow that the light hits, and particularly I'm going to accentuate it down to 50. So now that that is done, so next I want to save the skin tone a bit here. So maybe I'll use a gradient map. Hold on. This is color map. It's basically helps in creating gradient maps. So that's the color palette. Alright. Then we go to the so you see we've applied the color grade of his skin here because I like this skin tone. We have used this extension to create a gradient map and we have applied it to this photo. Obviously I only wanted to touch the skin, I don't want it to touch anything else. So we're just gonna paint it in. So it is a tad much, so I'm just gonna reduce the opacity even more to around there. So you can see that's the after, before, after, definitely much better skin in my opinion as compared to before. So next we're going to create some light contrast. So we're gonna move. So I want him slightly more illuminated than in the other one. So, and then I also want brighter highlights. So you can definitely see now he is more illuminated than he was before, and the highlights are popping much better. This skin tone though is not going as I like. Let me try another map. Let me try selective color color grade his skin. So I don't know which looks better, the color map or the selective color. They're all the same actually. I think I'll keep it the selective color. I like it. It looks a bit more natural with the selective color than the gradient map. So I wasted my time. Anyway, let's continue. So now that we've also increased the contrast, so far this is the photo. I don't know what else to do to make it pop more, because this is the before, this is the after. He's better lit, his skin is looking good, his tone is also looking good. Maybe I add a few more highlights. I think I'll add a few more highlights. Let's see how that goes. The mode is soft light, neutral color gray. Say okay. So basically I'm using a soft gray, soft light filled with neutral gray layer, and what this does is if you use that and use black and white, anywhere that you paint with white is going to become brighter. You can't see because my floor is so small, so actually let me just be bizarre and put everything. So as you can see, it paints in white, then when you go it paints in black. The beauty of this is it's very good for adding highlights and shadows that are more punchier and more contrasty than if you just use dodge and burn, in my opinion. So this is what I use last, just to make any area I want to pop a little more, pop a little more. So I'm gonna reduce it back to like 5, I believe. 3, 5 is good. And now I'm just going to extra highlight the areas. See, definitely much brighter. So I'm going to reduce the opacity so that it blends just a bit better. And there we go. A little pop, but I like it. So yeah, that's my final image. This is the before. This is the after. I think this is good enough. I'm not gonna die editing this one. I think we're done. Okay, so that's it for this video. To be honest, there was barely anything I needed to do in editing. It was mainly about the lighting setups in this one. I am happy with the results. I do feel as if it could have been better, but you know, when you're never at 100%, you always feel as if you could have done it better. But I am happy with the results. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm actually going to shoot that right now, and I'm actually really excited for that shoot because I get to play with my favorite thing. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to stay safe, wear a mask. Love you. Bye guys.